Hello guys, I hope you all are doing well. It's a Monday video, so a theoretical portion comes up. So this is the constitutional bodies and all of these 9, 10 chapters that we have that we call it under constitutional bodies is what this video is gonna cover. So do watch it till the end and just complete all these questions in these half an hour time that you have, so that it's easier for you to revise and easier for you to just keep revising. So let's begin. The first body under the constitutional bodies is Election Commission, which falls under Article 324 of the Constitution, and it is a permanent independent body. It ensures free and fair elections. We also have to know that yes, they look after the elections of the parliament, state legislature, president and vice president. So they are an all India body because they are common to both the central and the state government. Also, it has to be noted that Election Commission is not concerned with the elections to panchayats and municipalities because that falls under the separate state election commissioner. This is what this is from the first paragraph. Then when we look at the composition, there is Article 324 again, and in this we have the chief election commissioners and any number of election commissioners that can be prescribed from the president as according to them, and then appointment of the chief election commissioner and other election commissioners shall be made by the president. So president appoints, president decides how many to appoint and everything. And also when any other election commissioner is so appointed, the chief election commissioner is taken care of. The chief election commissioner acts as the chairman of the election commissioner. Then we have president also appoints the regional commissioners as may consider necessary, and the conditions of the service and tenure of the office again are determined by the president. So this was composition. We also have the powers, the salary and everything that is equal for the chief election commissioners and two other election commissioners. In case of disagreement, the matter is decided by the commission by majority. When we look at the term, they are appointed for 6 years or until they attain the age of 65 years. So this is like the or option. It's either this or that, and they can resign at any time or can be removed before the expiry of their term. So what's the independence? What's the thing about the election commissioner? The first thing is they enjoy the security of tenure because their removal is the same grounds as a judge of the Supreme Court is removed. So this is very important. They are given that much of respect and that much of a position, the power in the constitution. Then service conditions of the chief election commissioner cannot be varied to their disadvantage, and if there is a removal of any other election commissioner or a regional commissioner, recommendation of the chief election commissioner is taken. So they are not just accepted or they are not just moved away, they are also taken part of. But with all this independence, we also have the flaws in the independence and impartiality of the election commissioner because the qualification is not there, so it becomes difficult of whom to appoint. The constitution does not specify the term of the members of the election commission, so this is also not in their favor, and constitution has not debarred the retiring election commissioners from any further appointment by the government. So they can be bought and they can be sold, so that's also that we need to see the flaws. Then we have the powers and the functions of the election commissioner. We have administrative, we have advisory, and we also have the quasi-judicial. So they enjoy all these three powers, but what are under them is what we need to know. See, they determine the territorial areas, the constituencies, they prepare the electoral rolls, revise them, they notify the dates and schedules, scrutinize the nomination papers, they grant recognition, they allot election symbols, and they settle disputes, they appoint officers, determine the code of conduct, prepare a roster for publicity, they cancel polls if there's rigging or booth capturing or violence, they request the requisitioning the staff necessary for conducting elections. Apart from that, when they advise the president on matters relating to the disqualifications of the members, and they also advise the governor on matters relating to the disqualification of the governor. So these are all what powers and functions. They have this power and they also have to work this out. So this was when we look at the powers and the functions. They advise the president whether elections can be held in a state under president's rule to extend the period of emergency after 1 year. They register political parties for the purpose of elections and grant them the status of the national or state parties on the basis of their political performance. So we have kind of 15 powers and functions in the book. It's given there. If you want, you can go and see. But in short, if you know, it's all about the election commissioner should be doing, and they do it in the daily life that we see. Then we have, yes, they are assisted by the deputy election commissioners. They're drawn from these deputy election commissioners are drawn from the civil service and appointed by the commission with tenure system. They are again assisted by the secretaries, and it goes on. And in the state level, election commission is assisted by the chief electoral officer appointed by the chief election commissioner in consultation with the state government. And also this is to be known that yes, below this at the district level, collector acts as the district returning officer. Then we have the vision, mission, principles. In this, you can know about the significance, their objective, that yes, it is an institution of excellence. By they enhance the active engagement, participation, and they also look after the electoral democracy in India. Also, the mission is to look after the stakeholders, their independence, their accessibility, inclusiveness, ethical participation. They adopt the highest standards, and thus we get convinced about the electoral democracy and governance is free, fair, and transparent. Guiding principles, that yes, they have their own principles to take them away. The first is to uphold the values that is there in the constitution, that there should be equality, equity, impartiality, independence, rule of law, and everything. They conduct elections with highest standard. That is their objective, right? So just like we had in the objective, participation. So yes, they ensure participation of all eligible citizens. They engage with political parties in the interest of electoral process. They promote awareness. They develop the human resources. They build quality infrastructure for smooth conduct of electoral process, and they also adapt technology for improvement in all areas of electoral process. So if you really look at it, you can correlate all the objectives, you can correlate the powers and the functions, and you will come back to these principles, and thus you will not have to just mug it up or remember it in this way. You can just go with them, you can link them up, and thus you can conclude your answer in a very simple, sorted way. We have other principles, that is to strive for adoption of innovative practices. So yes, they bring innovation into our limelight and into our electoral process. And thus, with all this, they contribute towards the reinforcement of democratic values by maintaining and reinforcing confidence and trust of the people. Because yes, when there is free and fair, transparent election, it's good for us. Then we have UPSC. Now, UPSC, the Union Public Service Commission, has already been covered in the Ideal Bibliotheca video. The first video was that put up in this channel. So you can go watch it there and come back to this video. The link is in the description, or you can just keep it sidelined and then go and watch it and thus revise in the best possible way. But when we look at SPSC, we'll kind of contradict it so that our revision is also happening side by side. So then what we have is chapter 44, the State Public Service Commission, in which we are going to look into the chapter, their subparticles and everything. And with that, what we're going to do is, if there's any changes that's there which wasn't in UPSC or something like that, we'll look into it accordingly. So the composition that is here, the first thing is that the independent constitutional body, the articles, the part is everything same. So here they are appointed by the governor. UPSC was appointed by the president. Again, the authorized is the government to determine the conditions of service. There was president. Here it's 62 years. There it was 65 years, and 6 years is the same. And again, resignation to the governor. UPSC, resignation to the president. Then the governor can appoint one of the members of the SPSC as an acting chairman. So yes, this is the points. So the points are the same. When can the governor appoint? But in case of UPSC, it is appointed by the president. So this is the only difference. Most of it would be the governor and the president. But make sure that you do not cancel out everywhere, because at some point you will have president in both the cases and you wouldn't have it, subjected to government or something like that. And then we have the removal. This is the complete same thing. See here, the president is president. Then we have independence. Again, here can be removed from office by the president, but conditions of service is determined by the governor. Then entire expenses, including salaries and everything, is from the consolidated fund of the state, whereas in UPSC it was consolidated fund of the government. It's India. And then they are not subject to the vote of state legislature. There again it was parliament. And accordingly things change. They are eligible for appointment and eligible for appointment. But there is a difference How? The first is that chairman of a SPSC is eligible for appointment as chairman of UPSC or chairman of any other SPSC. But there it's not that, and a member of SPSC is eligible for appointment as a chairman or member of UPSC. This is still there, but chairman of UPSC is not eligible for reappointment in any other government agency, in any other government employment or anything like that. Then we have the functions. Yes, it conducts examinations for appointment to the services of the state, whereas UPSC was doing it in the services of the country, as in the all India services that was there. Apart from that, most of it is all the same. The functions are the same, but there is just that the matters of temporary appointments for period exceeding 1 year or on regularization of appointments or related to the grant of extension of services, something like these were for UPSC, but they are not for SPSC. So the concerned departments make recommendations for promotion and request the SPSC. In that case, it was UPSC. So this is the only small differences that is there. Apart from that, functions are same, independence is just here, there thing. And before that also things are same. So what you can just do is you can chuck it out from here and you can just write under your UPSC chapter that this is so and so that you need to cover or you need to enhance your things with. Then we also have the claim for reimbursement of legal expenses. These are all same, so you can just chuck it out from here and just look into it there and accordingly proceed with your topic. Recommendations is again the same, all the points are same, that yes, this making reservation of appointments or posts in favor of any backward classes of citizen and everything, but the only difference is that there was the president and here is the governor that can exclude post services and matters. Then we have the role. The role is again the same, that yes, constitutional visualizes the SPSC to be the watchdog of merit system just in the state, and there it was in the all India government services and everything like that. The rest is the same, so you can just hear. And then this topic is something which is not there in UPSC, so this is JSPSC, a statutory and not a constitutional body. Again, the chairman and members appointed by the president, whole office of a term of 6 years or until the 62 years. So this is the same as SPSC, then suspended or removed by the president or resigned from the offices at any time by submitting their resignation letters to the president. So this is of UPSC, and accordingly the conditions of services are determined by president. Then we have Finance Commission, a very very important portion, because Finance Commission includes your everything, the economic survey, the budget and everything. So you need to know, because Article 280 is something that has been used and would be used in a lot of your answers there in GS3, in GS2. So yes, this is mostly seen as a quasi-judicial body, and it is constituted by the President of India every 5th year or at such earlier time as he considers necessary. Now, if you look at the composition, yes, it consists of a chairman and 4 other members to be appointed by the president. So they are also appointed by the president. They are eligible for reappointment and hold the period as prescribed by the president. Parliament has specified the qualifications, and the qualifications are that yes, they can be a judge of High Court or one qualified to be appointed as one who is having specialized knowledge of finance, accounts, or one who has specialized knowledge of economics, and a person who has wide experience. Then the functions that you have, yes, they are required to make recommendations for the distribution of taxes, how they should be distributing the taxes between the center and the states, and the allocation between the states, and thus principles that govern the grant in aids according to what methodology that they should be using, and accordingly things like that, and measures needed to augment the consolidated fund of a state and everything. But the commission submits its report to the president, you need to know this. And then these are the functions according to which things could be fine, and these are something that you might have been asked to write, and accordingly, so please just make sure that at least you know how to write the answer. If not everything, you don't have to ratify this. They will not ask you to write these questions according to Indian Laxmikant only. So you just need to know that yes, they distribute, the principle is seen by them, the measures are seen by them, and they submit the report to the president, and then president lays it before the House of the Parliament. Then we have the advisory role. So this is something that you can use as a limitation to the role of the Finance Commission, that they have so and so functions which are important for the government of India. But apart from that, the advisory role is something that just negatifies everything if this word exists. So yeah, not binding on the government. So what is advisory nature? It's not binding on the government, so you can use these words that yes, it is nowhere laid down in the constitution that the recommendations of the commission shall be binding upon the government, so they have no legal right about this. And yes, you can use these two lines, these two sentences in your answers if you have things like that there, because yes, you can use this that the Constitution of India envisages the Finance Commission as the balancing wheel of fiscal federalism in India. But what is the role? That yes, it is undermined by the emergence of the Planning Commission, and also that Finance Commission is a constitutional body, but recommendations should not be turned down by the Government of India unless there are very compelling reasons. Then we move on to the next chapter, National Commission for Scheduled Castes, and we also have National Commission for Scheduled Tribes. This is the another chapter, so we'll just quickly go through them and complete this, and you will not even know how. So yes, this is under Article 338, and this is the constitutional body. But apart from that, any other commissions that we are having, like National Commission for Women or Minorities or Backward Classes, or National Human Rights Commission, or National Commission for Protection of Child Rights 2007, these are all statutory bodies, but this National Commission for Scheduled Caste is a constitutional body. Then there is a separate National Commission for Scheduled Caste which came into existence in 2004, because before this you will only have the evolution of how this started and how things proceeded. So yes, in 2004 it was actually the National Commission for Scheduled Caste that was given up, that was created, and then it consists of a chairperson, vice chairpersons, 3 other members. They are appointed by the president by warrant under his hand and seal. This is important, just note it down. And their conditions of service and tenure of service also determined by the president. Then we have the functions of the commission. They investigate, they monitor, they evaluate the working of the scheduled castes and the legal safeguards that's happening. They inquire into their complaints, they participate, they advise on the planning process of socio-economic development, present to the president and the reports that is required. They make recommendations about how they can work on the welfare, socio-economic development and everything, but only of the scheduled castes that they do, and they discharge such functions to the protection, welfare and development and advancement of scheduled castes as the president may specify. So in short, these are the functions that you can write. Most of the time you will find that these are the same functions, only the last word differs, as in if it's National Commission for Women, most of the time is same, it's just that scheduled caste is taken down and women is put up. So accordingly things just go on. You just need to revise and revise so that you know what is the difference and what can be something common, and then link all the common things so that you can proceed with your prescribed answer as and how it is asked. Then we have the report of the commission. So the commission presents an annual report but to the president, and accordingly the president forwards any report of the commission to the state government or the state governor, and they only president only reports before the parliament. Then we have powers of the commission. Yes, they summon, they enforce the attendance of any person from any part of India, examining him on oath. They require the discovery and the production of any document, receiving evidence on affidavits, requisitioning any public record, issuing summons, and any other matter which the president may determine. So this is not something that you have to mug up, but then if you just keep going through this like once in a while and everything, you just have to know the main words so that whenever it's asked, you can at least know the answer. You don't have to just stay blank there. Also, central government and the state governments are required to consult the commission on all the major policy matters. Also, the commission is required to discharge similar functions with regard to the OBC and the Anglo-Indian Committee. So, you need to see that yes, National Commission for Scheduled Caste only looks into all of these, and they report to the president upon their working also. Then we come to National Commission for STs. Like I said, it's similar to that. So there it was Article 338, and here it's Article 338A of the Constitution, and this is also a constitutional body. The functions of the commission is the same as we have there. There are also other functions of the commission. That is in 2005, President specified these functions. The first being that yes, they have to take measures to confer ownership rights in respect of minor forest produce to STs living in forest areas. Then again, to safeguard the rights of the tribal communities, the development of tribals, to improve the efficacy of relief and rehabilitation measures, prevent alienation, elicit maximum cooperation, full implementation of the provisions of Panchayats, extension to the Scheduled Areas Act 1996, and reduce and eliminate the practice of shifting cultivation. Basically, all the measures that they can take to at least enhance the performance, enhance the post enhance the existence of the tribal people in our country. Then we have a small chapter over Special Officer for Linguistic Minorities. Here, these were all done through the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act, and 7th Constitutional Amendment Act inserted a new article, that is Article 350B, under Part 17 of the Constitution, which created the Special Officer for Linguistic Minorities, and it gave in under the constitutional body. Then we have what all these articles contains as provisions, that yes, there should be a special officer for linguistic minorities, and again appointed by the president. Duty of special officer to investigate all the matters and report to the president. And also the constitution does not specify the qualifications, tenure, salaries, allowances and everything. So all of these are very small things about linguistic minorities that we need to know. Then there's a small portion, the Commissioner for Linguistic Minorities, which was created in 1957, and the headquarters is at Allahabad, Uttar Pradesh. 3 regional offices at Belgaum, Chennai and Kolkata, headed by the Assistant Commissioner or Deputy Commissioner, and at the central level, Commissioner falls under the Ministry of Minority Affairs. Some very small things that you should be knowing, because you never know, UPSC might just ask. The role of the commission that we have, the commissioner takes up all these matters pertaining to grievances of the non-implementation of the constitutional or nationally agreed scheme of safeguards, and also they promote and preserve the linguistic minority groups. The Ministry of Minority Affairs has requested the state governments to give wide publicity to their safeguards and take necessary administrative measures. Then the vision and mission, just like I talk of the objectives and the significance and everything, that yes, they work towards the effective implementation, not just making of it, the implementation, and they also ensure protection of the rights of the speakers of the minority languages, and also to provide them equal opportunities for their inclusive and integrated development. Then if you look at their functions, they investigate the all matters related to the safeguards, and then to submit to the President of India, they submit the reports on the status of implementation to the President, and they monitor the implementation of the safeguards through various things like questionnaires, conferences, seminars, etc. And also the main objective is this only, that yes, they provide the equal opportunities to the linguistic minorities, and also you can just add that yes, they need to see whether the implementation is done correctly, and accordingly they proceed. So these were the objectives, the functions, and other objectives is to spread awareness and effective implementation like I just talked about, and to handle the representations for redress of grievances. These are all just the copified version of your vision, and accordingly you can just write your answer. Then we come to Comptroller and Auditor General of India, a very, very important chapter, because yes, they also constitute a major portion in our constitution. Article 148, Head of the Indian Audit and Accounts Department, guardian of the public purse, controls the entire financial system, uphold the constitution, the field of financial administration, and one of the bulwarks of the democratic system of government, with having the post of Supreme Court, Election Commission and UPSC being the others. So accordingly, these are the small introduction that you can use when you're writing your answer. Article 148, do not forget, and with that, all these points are something you write in the introduction. Appointment is done by the president, again by a warrant under his hand and seal. That means that there is a stamp, there is a signature, and accordingly it's proceeded, because you cannot just skip it out, because there was a question in the CAG thing, that the CAG has a very vital role to play. Explain how this is reflected in the method of appointment. So accordingly you need to know that yes, appointment letter bears signature and the seal of President of India, and the appointment is the same just as the Supreme Court judge that we have. So this is that they hold office for a period of 6 years and up to the age of 65 years, which I think is the same for UPSC. It was 62 years for SPSC, but not specified in the Election Commission. And the resignation letter can be given to the President, and they can also be removed by the President, but in the same manner as a judge of the Supreme Court. So they also enjoy the independence just like the Election Commission of India. The independence, if you look at, yes, provided with the security of tenure, these are all very, very same and very mutual in all of the points. So this will become easy for you to just mug it up, that yes, can be removed by the president only, not eligible for further office. So this is there, which wasn't there in Election Commission. And then Parliament decides the salary, so equal to that of judge of a Supreme Court. So they cannot be used as a disadvantage to their appointment. And the conditions of the service of person serving is prescribed by the president, and accordingly the administrative expenses, including all their salaries and everything, is done under the Consolidated Fund of India, so they are not subject to the vote of Parliament. Again, the duty and the powers, if you look at Article 149, and the Act is also mentioned. So the duties are: they audit the account, they audit all the expenditures, the trading, the manufacturing, profit and loss accounts, the contingency fund of India, the receipts and expenditure of the center, each state, and they also audit the receipts and expenditure of all bodies, authorities, government companies, and other corporations and the bodies so required by the related laws. Audits all transactions of the central and the state governments, audits receipts, stocks accounts, and the others with approval of the president, and also audits the accounts of any other authority if it's requested by the president or governor, and advises the president with regard to prescriptions. Submit the audit reports relating to the accounts of the center to the president. So that's under Article 151. Submit to the state, as in the governor, under Article 151 again. Ascertains and certifies the net proceeds under Article 279. Guide, friend and philosopher, and compiles and maintains the accounts of the state government. So these are all in short versions. You can just know about them and you can be thorough with this, and thus you just complete the small portion very quickly. Then the CAG submits 3 audit reports to the president: audit report on appropriation accounts, finance accounts, and public undertakings. This was a very small portion which I think might be important, so let's not just skip it out. Then we have the role that yes, they are there to uphold the Constitution of India and the laws of the Parliament in the field of financial administration. Also, accountability of the executive is secured through the audit reports of the CAG. So this is a very vital portion from them, and they are the agent of the parliament, so they are responsible only to the parliament. Then they have a secret service expenditure, which is a limitation on the auditing role. So these are all the limitations that yes, CAG cannot call for particulars of expenditure. They just have to accept the certificate. Also, CAG is fulfilling the role of an auditor general only, not of a comptroller. Why? Because they are just concerned only at the audit stage when the expenditure has already taken place. So we do not actually follow the Britain practice of being a CAG. We have our own respect, and accordingly we proceed. So these are the limitations that you can have. Also, they are audited by private auditors who are appointed by the government on the advice of the CAG. Then there's also a small portion with the criticism by Paul H. Appleby over the CAG thing. You can go through that in the Laxmikant book itself. Then we have Attorney General of India, Article 76, and the highest law officer. So this is not audit, this is law. And we have Attorney General of India for the country and Advocate General of India for the state. So 50 and 51, which will become our last chapters for today's video, and also for the constitutional bodies. So appointed by the president and qualified to be appointed a judge of the Supreme Court. So their qualification is just that, and not fixed by the constitution is their term, and they hold office during the pleasure of the president, and resignation is also given to the president. Their duties include: they give advice to the government of India upon the legal matters, they perform other duties of legal character which is assigned to them by the president, and discharge the functions conferred on him by the constitution. Also, president, like in point 2, which was there assigned by the president, we have appear on behalf of the government of India in cases in the Supreme Court and in High Court, and also represent the government of India under Article 143 of the Constitution. Then we have rights and limitations. We have, yes, they have the right of audience in all courts of the territory. He had the right to speak, to take part in the proceedings, but no right to vote. But the limitations are huge, because should not advise or hold a brief against the government of India, or in cases which is he's called upon to advise or appear for the government of India, should not defend accused persons in the criminal prosecutions, and should not accept appointment as a director in any company. But the Attorney General is not a full-time counsel and does not fall in the category of government servants. Solicitor General of India is a very small portion, that is, they assist the Attorney General, and Article 76 does not mention about the Solicitor General, so they are not a constitutional body. And AG is not a member of the Central Cabinet. There is a separate law minister in the Central Cabinet to look after their legal matters. We come to the last topic for today. We complete the constitutional bodies with this. Advocate General of the State, Article 165, highest law officer in the state. In Attorney General of India, we had country, here it's state. So accordingly, they correspond to the Attorney General of India. And then again, this is appointed by the governor. There was the president. Judge of a high court is qualified, equivalent to that, they're judge of the Supreme Court. Again, they're removed by the governor and resigned to the governor. Again, removed by president there, resigned to the president there. And remuneration, all of these are also as the governor may determine. So all of these are governor here. and the duties is the same, just the first three, and the duties prescribed or assigned by the president is not here. Also further, he has the right to speak, take part, everything that's there, appear before any court of law, enjoys all the privileges, and the member of the state legislature. So here it's state legislature and not parliament, and thus these are the differences. Alright guys, this was it with today's video. Today's video was huge because I really decided that no, I just want to complete constitutional bodies at one go, and I really want to make a short crisp video so that just like you, if I also come back to this video and look at it and know whenever I want to revise, yes, I can just rely on this half an hour video and just complete everything about the constitutional body, a major chunk of my book from there, and accordingly I can proceed. So I hope that this video was helpful, and you guys can also refer to this, learn through this, and make sure that whenever you're studying that you have Laxmikant in front of you, so that things becomes easier for you also, and accordingly you can proceed. We next meet on Wednesday with one again interesting topic. Until then, keep studying. Thanks for watching.